Namaskar, hello everyone. This is Deepak Gupta logging again on this platform of College Dekho Learn on YouTube. And to continue this journey of income under the head salaries, today we will be closing this sessions on salary, and this is part 9, which will deal with deductions under section 16. So what the whole concept is all about, that you have to calculate gross salary. Gross salary is kind of revenue or the receipts which you have received by providing your services with the employer. And primarily there are five constituents of this term gross salary. That is the basic salary, that is the main structure of your salary on which the whole other perquisites and allowances are based. This salary is supported by various other miscellaneous cash benefits such as bonus, overtime, and now we have certain specific payments which have been made in cash for covering certain special expenditures known as allowances. And if these allowances are not paid in cash, if they are provided through indirect benefits, cashless benefit from the employer, then we use the word perquisites. Means cash दिया, अगर गाड़ी के लिए कैश दिया तो कैश अलाउंस, बट अगर कंपनी ने आपको कार ही प्रोवाइड कर दी तो उसे हम लोग क्या बोलते हैं, कैश परक्विजिट्स. और ये सब डिस्कशन हम लोग अपने पुराने सेशंस में कर चुके हैं. इसके अलावा when you retire then you get benefits of gratuity, pension, leave, salary, and they all have been termed clubbed under the head retirement benefits. So primarily whatever the various constituents that an employee is receiving from the employer can be classified in these five different blocks, and that is not any official classification. This is how we normally teach, so that there is ease of learning. And this gross salary is basically denoting the revenues under the head salaries, and the income tax is levied on the income, and income is not the revenue. From this revenue we have to claim certain expenditures which have been incurred directly or indirectly for providing services, and these allowable expenditures are known as deductions. So these deductions which will be allowed from the gross salary are clubbed under section 16, and once they are deducted we arrive at the figure of net salary or income from salaries or income under the head salaries. So our focus today is that what are the various deductions under section 16. So broadly speaking, there are three primary deductions under section 16. First is under section 16(1)(a). Earlier it was 16(1), but because it was revised, therefore the new section was introduced by the word standard deduction. Then there was deduction under section 16(2) as coming originally, that is known as entertainment allowance. Now this is a special deduction because now normally other allowances are either fully taxable or exempt up to a certain extent. So whenever an allowance is received, if it is having certain exemption, then we only add the balance not taxable amount in the gross salary. But in the case of entertainment allowance, we have not the exemption under section 10 but the deduction. So what is happening, that when we calculate the gross salary, we add the whole amount of entertainment allowance received, and whatever are the eligible deductions, they will be deducted from the gross salary. And just to make you note here that these deductions are applicable only for government employees, and that government employee denotes central government and state government only. So we can summarize it this way, that for all other employees except central and state government, the entertainment allowance is fully taxable. But if the entertainment allowance received by a central or state government employee, then you add the whole amount of entertainment allowance received in the gross salary, and Thereafter, after the gross salary is calculated, you make a deduction as per this section 16 subsection 2 for deduction on behalf of unpaid allowance, but that too only for these two special employees and no one else. Now, after that, we have this third deduction known as deduction under section 3, that is 16.3, and that is for the payment of professional tax. Now, what is that and how it is made, that will be discussed when we discuss the specific sections. So, starting with, so just to before I move on, that these three are the exquisite deductions. It means that from the gross salary, whatever of the three will be eligible will be deducted, and in addition to those three, no other deduction is available. It means if somehow these deductions are not covering your expenditure that you believe that you have incurred to earn the salary, then in spite of their relationship with your salary earning, they won't be allowed as deduction. It means only these three deductions will be allowed from the gross salary, and the balance will be taxable as income under the head salary. So before we move on, it was section 16(1)(a), जो ये पहली डिडक्शन है और इसका नाम क्या है, स्टैंडर्ड डिडक्शन. So before we move on what it is, there has to be a certain important enjoyable points of regarding the deduction. That normally जब एक आदमी नौकरी करने जा रहा है तो उसके कुछ ऑब्वियस सी बात है, कुछ इनहेरेंट एक्सपेंडिचर्स हैं जो उसने सैलरी को अर्न करने के लिए किए. सबसे कॉमन एग्जांपल जो है वो है कि जब वो ऑफिस जाता है उसके कुछ ना कुछ खर्चे होते हैं ट्रैवल के. कुछ खर्चे हो सकते हैं जो उसने खाने पीने के लिए किए, सेल्फ मेंटेनेंस के लिए किए, ऑफिस की ड्रेस वगैरह मेंटेन करने के लिए किए. और अगर वो सारे खर्चे किसी भी तरीके से एम्प्लॉयर ने प्रोवाइड नहीं किए हैं, सो देयर आर बाउंड टू बी इनहेरेंट एक्सपेंडिचर्स दैट यू हैव टू incur so that you can earn the salary. So what have been the position from the beginning, that all those expenditures, though related with the earning of salary, though inherent, but still they have not been allowed from the gross salary as deduction because of the inherent limitation that how will you actually count that which employee has incurred how much expenditure. So from the very beginning, a fixed amount was always allowed as deduction. In the earlier case, it was section 16 subsection 1. The name was same, standard deduction, and the amount was only rupees 20,000. But for certain years in between, the amendment was made and such standard deduction was disallowed. But later on, 3-4 years earlier, our old finance minister, जिनकी अब डेथ हो चुकी है, Mr. Arun Jaitley, they made a change in the salary structure. They forego the deduction or exemption on behalf of medical reimbursement and entertainment and conveyance allowance, and reintroduced the standard deduction concept with an enhanced amount of rupees 50,000. So what it amounts, that a straightforward amount of rupees 50,000 will be allowed as standard deduction irrespective of कि इनका नेचर क्या है, irrespective of कि सैलरी में कितना खर्चा किया कितना खर्चा नहीं किया, just to cover for all those inherent expenditures, a fixed amount of rupees 50,000 is allowed as deduction from the gross salary for all kind of employees, provided the gross salary is more than 50,000. That is, अगर किसी की gross salary 50,000 से कम है तो deduction obviously will be limited to the gross salary. तो अगर किसी की gross salary 40,000 है तो अगर मैं deduction 50,000 माइनस करूंगा standard deduction तो salary negative में आ जाएगी. That is not possible. That is why this limit of 50,000 is limited to the gross salary. So अगर किसी की gross salary 50,000 से कम है तो जितनी gross salary है वो सारी deduction बन जाएगी और उसकी जो taxable salary है वो nil हो जाएगी. और अगर बाकी लोगों की ग्रॉस सैलरी 50,000 से ऊपर है तो एक स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड 50,000 की अमाउंट विद द नेम ऑफ स्टैंडर्ड डिडक्शन अंडर सेक्शन 16(1)(a will be allowed to calculate the balance income from salary in addition to other deductions. So what is important, that standard deduction is allowed for all employees irrespective of any eligibility, and the amount is fixed straightforward as 50,000. But if we move on to other deductions like section 16(2), that amounts to entertainment allowance, then there are various clauses that need to be fulfilled. So, as I said, that this deduction of entertainment allowance is applicable only for central government and state government employees. The first point is that no other employee is eligible to take such deduction. It means there are some cases where we will have two deductions, standard deduction and entertainment allowance, but this deduction of standard deduction will always be applicable irrespective of anything. Second thing that is to be noticed here is that all other allowances, एंटरटेनमेंट के अलावा बाकी जितने भी अलाउंसेज है मैंने पहले भी बोला, दे अलाउज या दे एंजॉयज एग्जम्पशन अंडर सेक्शन 10. दे एंजॉयज एग्जम्पशन अंडर सेक्शन 10.